Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we've got something absolutely fascinating to dive into. When a natural disaster strikes, the immediate devastation is just heartbreaking. But often, the most grueling part for the victims is actually what comes next, the endless red tape of rebuilding. But what if artificial intelligence could literally cut right through that bureaucracy and help people get back into their homes months faster? Well, today we're exploring a groundbreaking pilot program in Los Angeles that is doing exactly that. We're going to break down how a brand new AI tool is completely transforming post-disaster recovery and how it might just revolutionize urban development everywhere.
All right, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover the post-fire rebuild challenge. Then, we'll introduce the AI solution known as eCheck. After that, we'll break down exactly how AI plan checking works, look at its real-world impact, discuss the limitations of the tech to keep ourselves grounded, and finally zoom out to look at the future of permitting.
Okay, Section 1, the Post-Fire Rebuild Challenge, Bureaucratic Nightmares. So, to really get why this AI solution is such a massive deal, we first have to understand what's at stake here. In the wake of the devastating 2025 Palisades and Eaton fires, thousands of homeowners across Los Angeles County, the city of LA and Malibu, were left with this monumental task of rebuilding their lives from scratch. But as anyone who's ever built a house knows, before you can pour a single drop of concrete for a foundation, you have to get a permit. And in disaster recovery zones that are suddenly facing super high submission volumes, that process becomes an absolute bottleneck. Just think about the sheer difference in time here. A traditional manual review of architectural plans can take anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. Sometimes it takes up to 3 entire months just for the initial check. I mean, that's literally months of families waiting around, paying out of pocket for temporary housing, and watching construction costs skyrocket. Now compare that to the AI turnaround, 10 business days or less. That is an incredible leap in efficiency. We're talking about shrinking a months-long waiting game into essentially a week and a half.
Moving on to Section 2, Enter AI, the eCheck solution, cutting the red tape.
Realizing that the old way simply was not fast enough for an emergency recovery, local governments teamed up with a company called Archistar to launch an express lane initiative. This push was championed pretty heavily by civic groups like Steadfast LA. That's a nonprofit led by Rick Caruso, who really advocated for fast, transparent systems that use innovation to help these specific fire-impacted communities. And the result of all that effort is this tool, eCheck. Now, I want to be super clear here. This is not a generative AI chatbot that writes poetry or hallucinates answers. Not at all. This is a highly specialized, deterministic compliance scanner. It performs automated checks against local building and zoning codes, basically verifying if submitted architectural plans actually follow the strict rules of a municipality, which cuts out a massive amount of manual busywork for city officials.
Section 3. How AI plan checking works. The digital scanner. So, how does an architect or a homeowner actually use this thing out in the real world? It's honestly beautifully simple. Step 1. You qualify. Right now, this beta program is specifically for single-family homeowners who are rebuilding in targeted fire-damaged zones like Altadena, Sunset Mesa, and Pacific Palisades. Step 2. The user creates a free account on the Archistar portal provided by the city or county. Step 3. The architect or homeowner simply uploads their architectural plans in a standard PDF format. And by the way, you can upload a straight like-for-like rebuild or even a modified new design. And finally, Step 4. The AI scans those PDFs and kicks out a comprehensive report in days, automatically checking really crucial zoning requirements, things like setbacks, height restrictions, lot coverage, and even solar readiness.
Which brings us to Section 4, the real-world impact, quantifying recovery.
It's one thing to talk about technology in theory, right? But what does this actually mean for the folks trying to get their homes back? To quantify this, we can look at some data from Letter 4. They're a Los Angeles architecture and construction firm that's actively using this pilot program right now for their fire rebuild clients. They're seeing a massive 6 to 8 week reduction in the process. That is the chunk of time Letter 4 estimates they can shave off the traditional permit timeline. Because one of their licensed architects is already approved by LA County to self-certify plans, they basically use the AI to catch any zoning errors instantly, resolve them on the spot, and then fast-track the formal submission, meaning their clients get to break ground up to 2 whole months faster. And time isn't the only thing they're saving. Using this AI tool helps avoid those grueling back-and-forth rounds of manual plan revisions. And let's be real, every single revision traditionally costs money. You're paying for architectural billable hours and municipal resubmission fees. Letter 4 actually estimates that by getting it right the first time through this AI pre-screening, homeowners will likely save upwards of $10,000. When you're stressing over tight insurance payouts and paying for a temporary apartment, saving 10 grand is absolutely massive. This all boils down to 3 distinct permitting strategies happening as we speak. First, you've got the traditional tier. Manual review by the city, taking months with multiple revisions. Second, the AI-only tier. This is where a homeowner or a standard architect uses eCheck for a rapid pre-check. It catches errors early and results in a solid medium timeline. But the third tier, AI plus self-certification, well, that's where the magic really happens. By stacking these innovations, using AI to verify compliance, paired with a licensed professional who has self-certification authority to submit it, you achieve maximum speed. It's just a perfect example of human expertise leveraging AI to get the absolute best result for the client.
All right, Section 5, Limitations of the Technology, Grounding the Hype.
Now, as enthusiastic as we are about all this, eCheck is a powerful tool, but it is for sure not a silver bullet. Understanding what it cannot do is vital. The AI does not perform structural or engineering reviews, period. It cannot calculate load-bearing capacities, it doesn't review shear walls or foundation systems, and it certainly doesn't check fire safety infrastructure like sprinkler systems. Furthermore, it has absolutely no eye for subjective aesthetics or community compatibility. So the really crucial takeaway here is that AI is a pre-screening tool for zoning and building codes. It absolutely does not replace the judgment, the liability, or the specialized skill of licensed human architects and engineers.
Another limitation to keep in mind is data privacy. You're taking proprietary, confidential architectural plans and uploading them to a third-party software platform. Users, and especially licensed professionals, have to remain highly vigilant that they're handling their clients' data strictly in accordance with privacy regulations and professional ethics. AI introduces incredible speed, yeah, but it also introduces new digital touchpoints that require really careful management.
Finally, Section 6, the future of permitting, beyond disaster recovery.
So right now, this technology is laser-focused on a hyper-local crisis, helping Los Angeles fire victims rebuild. But local officials are already signaling that the implications for global civic technology are just enormous. Let's look at the rapid timeline for adoption. We're currently in the mid-2025 beta testing phase, right? Gathering data, training the AI. By late 2025, the city and county will evaluate all the performance metrics and user feedback. And if all goes well, we could see full-scale implementation by Q1 of 2026. That would make this tool the standard practice for all single-family residential plan reviews, not just the ones in disaster zones.
But honestly, why stop at single-family homes? Future expansions are expected to layer entirely new AI modules into the system. Imagine an AI that can instantly check compliance for massive multifamily housing developments or complex commercial projects. Imagine modules specifically trained to verify environmental reviews, sustainability compliance, or even affordable housing metrics. This technology could literally be the key to helping cities finally balance the need for strict regulatory enforcement with the desperate need to solve global housing shortages.
Which leaves us with this final thought. We've seen how effectively this digital tool can cut through bureaucratic red tape to help people rebuild after a devastating fire. It turns months of waiting into mere days. But if AI can achieve this for disaster recovery, how will it reshape your city's skyline when it's applied to everyday development? The way we build our world is about to get a lot faster and a whole lot smarter. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes on the horizon, folks. The future of building is already here.